Hey guys, I'm back. Norman Soares at the Dance for TV studios, and tonight at 8 o'clock at 800 CET, we'll be having Vater Gonzalez and Brooks at this table, talking about music, about life, about how Brooks is doing right now as an artist and as a person. So stay tuned tonight at 8 o'clock. But now I have somebody at the other end of the line. Let me put my phone off. And this is a guy that has been to Dance Fair, I think, from the start or the second year. He's from England. His name is Paul Nolan, and he produced or he did sound designing with Sasha, I think, but he can explain later. And he did an internship at Junkie XL. So, our Dutch pride. So, let me say hi to Paul Nolan. How are you, man?
Yeah, I'm good, Norman. How are you, mate?
Was I right about that sound designing thing with Sasha?
Yes, yeah, kinda, yeah.
Tell me.
It's a long story. So yeah, I've known Sasha for a long time. We're really good friends, and when I made the move over to LA a couple of years ago, he asked me to come on board and help him with the production of his last album, Scene Delete, which is what he's currently doing live shows for in the next month. And I fulfilled a lot of different duties on that album. I was there to help run the studio in LA and actually built the modular synth rig that we got a lot of great sounds from, a lot of sound design, programming work. So yeah, it was a multifaceted thing. So yeah, it was a great experience to work with Sash.
Crazy, man. And Junkie XL, can you tell me a little bit about that? How that went on?
So me and Junkie, me and Tom, we had a chance meeting at Hans Zimmer's studio, as you do, when hanging around Hans Zimmer's studio. I was privileged to be invited to go around there because I had some friends who were working with Hans at the time.
Yeah,
and Junkie XL just sort of runs into Hans's room and he's like, "Oh, you're that Paul Nolan guy," and I'm like, "What? How do you even know about me?" So it turns out like Sasha had told him about me and stuff. And we ended up just keeping in contact. And then when he moved into doing films on his own and doing film soundtracks on his own, he had some work that he needed some help with to clear up some commitments that he had dance music wise. So I helped him out in a very similar way to Sasha, where I did a lot of programming, I did a lot of like sound design work, wrote a couple of tracks for him as well. And yeah, he's a great guy. I like to say about Tom that he's forgotten more than I know. Yeah. And I probably learnt more in 10 days of working really intensely with him than I did in like the 4 years previously. You know, he's an amazing mind. He really is.
But what about Junkie XL is that he is so amazing in the studio. So what is his approach a little bit, if you can explain that?
He's crazy. He's absolutely crazy. I mean, that's where the name Junkie XL comes from, right? Because he's an XL junkie in the studio. You know, sometimes you have to actually like physically remove him from the studio, you know, because he's just
just can't stop.
It just can't stop, yeah? So what's great was, you know, I work with him remotely, so it was great. So I work with him over here in England, and then I'd send things to LA, and then I'd get notes back. And I've worked like that with a number of people when I've done film trailers, or I've worked on documentaries or other films. But the level of feedback was just so crazy. It was so detailed, and it was so technical, and it was so on point. And you'd read it, and you'd go, yeah, man, I've never thought of that. That's incredible. So he really helped me completely evolve how I think about music production, any form of music production, whether it would be, you know, a thrash metal band all the way through to a film score and all the electronic things in between. So just to have him give me a little endorsement at the end of the projects that I helped him out with. And, you know, he said that he enjoyed what I did, and he was a fan of what I've done. So that was a big lift for me at that particular point in my career. So yeah, he's crazy.
Beautiful. Hey, and you have been coming into Dance Fair since 2013, I think, something like that. I met you in Ibiza, right? Or...
I think so. Yeah, I think so. I didn't go to the Dance Fair in Ibiza, but I think I might have met you previously through because we met through Henry at Sonic Vista, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Because me
Yeah.
and Henry did did Dance Fair the first year together.
Yes, exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
But you have been doing masterclasses about techno sounds, really, yeah? About how to produce techno music, how to create a kind of a sound like drum code. So not exactly like drum code, but like those elements. So can you explain me a little bit about that, how you did that, and what that masterclass was about in the past?
Y- Yeah, the first masterclass, I think the first masterclass I did for you was maybe 2015.
Yeah, I
And
remember.
I did the whole weekend. I think I ended up doing like 6 masterclasses that weekend because you were like, Paul, this person hasn't showed up.
Yeah,
Can you
yeah.
go and do this? And I'm like, yeah, sure. Give me half an hour and I'll be over there. It was so funny because I did like, 3 on each day in the end. It
Yeah,
was
yeah,
crazy. I loved it. It was brilliant.
yeah.
And yeah, I mean, the one that people know me for was the one where it was, this is the sound of drum code records and this is how you can get that sound. And it was a combination of things, really. It was obviously understanding the genre.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing that is, a big part of what we're going to talk about later on
Yeah.
in terms of finishing
Finishing
tracks,
tracks. Yep.
it's all about the raw materials, and it's about getting those raw materials correct in terms of the sounds that you use, how you use them in order to get to a very deliberate certain place. And specific to the drum code sound, it's all about obviously things being very big sounding, but it's also about the amount of space that you leave.
Yeah, minimalism.
So
Yeah.
a lot of people get it wrong. Where, in fact, I was just feeding back to a client this afternoon about, he made this really great techno record, and he's a signed artist, and he's going to be somebody to watch this year. And I've been developing him for the last year, but there was a track where there was just too many things in it,
Yeah.
and it actually makes the track less impactful and smaller. So what is there needs to be very minimal so it has more space so it can become bigger and more impactful. That's the key. So therefore, if you've not got a lot of elements in your track, then the quality of the elements that are there are absolutely crucial. So you need to make them as high quality as you can do.
Yeah. Finishing tracks, Paul. I'm gonna talk to you about that, but it has a kind of a story to it. Can you explain a little bit about what you have done with a new venture, company, educational platform that you started?
I can indeed, yeah. So my mentorship business has been evolving for a number of years because it started off about 2011 after I left the SAE Institute in the UK and went freelance. And I wanted to do that because I wanted to get one-to-one with people. I wanted to get very personal about their needs and be able to have a greater impact on people. And the evolution of that was being able to help more people because genuinely I've had a very full diary for the last 6 years. So I've been very fortunate that a lot of people trust me with their careers and trust me with the opinions that I have and how I can help them get better. And the next evolution of that was, of course, to go into the online area. So I rebranded my business to Make Your Transition, or MYT for short. And we launched our first online course in November last year, which is about exactly what we're talking about now, which is how to, no matter what genre that you're producing, how you can not only finish your tracks or get them to a finished state, but also be able to overcome some of the mental obstacles. Because that's become a bigger part of what I do. At the beginning, it was very much, let's teach somebody how Ableton works or how this plugin works in Logic and things like this. And it's evolved now into being probably about, I would say, 50-50 with talking about mindset, talking about how to become more efficient in the studio, how to manage your mind, which has led me to doing panels. I did a big panel at Amsterdam Dance Event last year, which was all about mental health for artists and healthy mindsets for producers as well. So it combines all of those elements into a package which will show you all of the obstacles mentally and operationally that you might come up against if you're struggling to take your musical ideas and create a finished track for them. And then it takes you through a process where I actually separate the processes out into distinct stages. And I show you by actually writing a track myself from beginning to end. I'm not hiding any secret techniques or any voodoo or anything like that, or any witchcraft that a lot of people try and do. I'm very open about what I do. And I take you through the process from beginning to end. And the feedback has been phenomenal. I had one person email me over the Christmas period who took the course. There's over 10 hours worth of video.
Yeah.
And it's really long form. It's very detailed. And this guy said, I've just crushed your course inside of 2 weeks. And then in the 2 weeks after and over the Christmas period, I had 20 unfinished tracks on my hard drive, and I've finished them all.
Great. Wow.
So it's had a huge impact on the people who have taken the course. So,
but what are you going to say there in that 45 minutes, 1 hour course at Dancefair? By the way, guys, Paul Nolan is there on both days, Saturday and Sunday, in the Next Level area, and he will be doing a Finishing Your Tracks masterclass. But what is like one of the biggest mistakes that producers make? Because sometimes, you know, in the past when I was producing, I was making music, and then there were like 1 or 2 tracks that I can still remember that everything just fell into places, right? It just fell into place. Like if somebody was like, you know, pulling the strings, you know, on you, and you were like, oh man, everything worked, and it was a kind of a momentum, kind of a trance, mind. I don't know what it was, but it was unbelievable. Is that a thing that you can create if you know how to, or how does it work? What is your take on that? Yeah,
absolutely. You can create an environment, and you can create a condition for yourself where obviously you can't control when that happens.
No.
And when it comes, you have to take advantage of it. And we've probably all been there, where I like to say that you aren't writing the track. It's almost as if the track is writing you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. The dog is taking you for a walk, shall we say. And for me, what I'm obsessed about with Finish More Music and being able to help people to do that is to help them to create those conditions where that kind of trance-like state and what we've just talked about becomes more likely, to the point where you can actually almost guarantee that even if that situation doesn't happen, because you don't want to wait around until you feel all inspired to be able to finish a track, because that might never happen again.
Yeah.
So you have to be able to have a system in place that allows you that even when you're not feeling inspired, you good quality to a good standard. So that's what I teach. And the number one thing that people get wrong, or the number one mistake, is that everyone tries to, what I've seen with producers, everyone tries to do everything at once.
Yeah.
So you try to compose the track or compose the riff while you're trying to design the sound, or you are trying to mix the track down when you have not even finished the arrangement yet.
Yeah. Exactly.
And trying to do all of these things at once. Yeah, exactly. There's no structure. And that is both the best and the worst part of the modern music technology, because the best part is everything is possible. Yeah. And then the worst part is everything is possible.
Yeah.
So you don't know where to begin.
Too many options, and makes unhappy.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. And as Bob Marley said in one of his old songs, you know, in an ocean full of water, the fool is always thirsty. And I've always that quote really changed my life, really, because it made me realize the power of actually restricting your choices. And that's what this system, this workflow system on the Finish More Music course is all about. So what I'm actually going to do at Dance Fair in terms of the masterclass I'm giving for you guys there, I'm actually going to, I kind of made a joke a couple of days ago when I decided to do this, that my Dance Fair masterclasses are almost like becoming like a season of Game of Thrones.
Why?
Where there's like a beginning, and then it continues here, and then it finishes over here. So basically, like the drum code ones from a couple of years ago were very much like this is how you get the sound and things like this. And then in Belgium last November when
Yep.
we were together last,
Dance for
I
Belgium. Yeah.
actually exactly Dance for Belgium. I actually as part of the getting that techno sound masterclass that I gave and the sound design 2.0, I actually started a track. So what I'm going to do in Dance Fair in Utrecht is I'm actually going to finish that track
Yeah. Beautiful.
in front of the audience on the Saturday and the Sunday, so I can take you through the system and give you an idea about the various stages and how it can come to pass.
Beautiful. And also, a little bit with you because I spoke to you briefly at Dance Fair Belgium, and then you also told me that you also changed yourself a little bit. There was something with you also that you said, I have changed my life also a little bit. Is this also something that you will tell about, about yourself and how you did that or what it was? So can you explain a little bit, what happened with Paul Nolan?
Because or this version of Paul Nolan, like Paul Nolan 3.0. I mean, one of the reasons why I spoke in Amsterdam for the ADE about mental health was due to the fact that obviously we spoke about working with Sasha and working with Junkie XL, and I was living in Los Angeles, and on paper and on social media, it seemed to be like, oh my God, like the amount of people who would come up to me and say, oh my God, Paul, like you're living the dream. And, on the inside, like it wasn't right. It wasn't enjoyable. And it was interesting because I was flying around a lot of places, DJing a lot, touring a lot, and again living that dream sort of dance music life. And then I had to take some time away because it just became very, very challenging and very exhausting. And I took some time away to learn about myself and to really upgrade my thought processes and upgrade myself and learn more about what actually works for me as a person. And I think a lot of that comes down to expectations. And it's about finding balance in your life as well, which actually is part of, again, what I'm going to talk about at Dance Fair, because you can't consistently create results in the studio unless you're balanced in other areas of your life. So that means being realistic about your expectations, saying no to certain things that you might previously have said yes to because you feel like you're expected to, and figuring out, as I say, a lifestyle and a balance and a schedule that really works for you so you can be the best version of yourself. Because if you're the best version
out of the
yourself,
studio, in and out of the clubs.
Exactly. And if you're the best version of yourself outside of the studio, you're more likely to create the best results for yourself as an artist when you're in the studio.
Yeah. It is deep, but it's not deep at all because, it's the truth. It's like it is,
No, absolutely.
It's how it is.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Paul.
You're welcome, Norman. Always
I cannot
a
wait to
pleasure.
see you again and to hold you in my arms.
You give great cuddles and great hugs. So I'm looking forward to it, Norman.
No, but
really.
I will see you on the 17th and 18th of February. Guys, please do check out Paul Nolan finishing your tracks both days in the next level. Check the times. I think it's like 3:30 or something like that.
Yeah,
3:30, I don't know.
Yeah.
But check it out on dancefair.nl. See you later, Paul. Thank you.
Thank you very much, brother.
Bye-bye.
See you soon.